Okay, hey everybody. Gonna be doing Predator today. Bear with me just a second while I refresh and share with the page group. And there we go. Yeah, this one is a personal favorite of mine. I really dig this character. He's one of my favorites um, from pretty much any movie universe. Uh, this is one of the first monsters that I got to really see. And besides Godzilla, of course, which everybody knows that I'm a huge fan of. Uh, but this guy is one of my absolute favorites. And then now that they've finally crossed over the Alien series with the Predator universe, which they were supposed to be always combined, it's pretty cool, man. I mean, this is one that I just never get tired of seeing on screen, and uh, it's just action oriented enough that it makes it really, really cool. I wish they would do more with him rather than just the cameo stuff that they're doing. But I mean, even in the films that they're in, they still always use the traditional effects methods. So the suits and prosthetics. So not much CGI in those movies, which that's cool to see. But they keep them in the dark most of the time. Uh, that latest one with what was it, Predators? That one was a little bit of a disappointment to me because it was so dark. I mean, it wasn't as bad as Requiem, which if you've never seen that that film was just off the charts bad as far as lighting goes. Um, it wasn't the best scripted film either. I mean, it went literally by the comic book from Dark Horse of the same name, which I'm cool with that. But they could have put a little more characterization and whatnot into it, and they missed a big banking opportunity there, trying to keep the franchise licensed and all that. And um, I don't know exactly what they intended to do with that. I mean, uh, it was pretty raw as far as I was concerned. Um, it was very dark and very poorly lit, which it was supposed to be to make it more scary, like a horror movie, like the original. But they missed the mark with the lighting and went too dark, in in my opinion. And that when they did that, it really jacked it up. So, and that's a technical term, by the way. So, uh, but yeah, it's one of those things where you either do it right or you don't. And I thought Aliens versus Predator was still far superior in the movies because you got to see the most out of the bang for the buck. It was really well done, and a lot of people don't like it, but I do. I am a hardcore fan of the Predator character, and I really, really, really love that film. Um, I just thought they did a phenomenal job. But like I said, I've got many friends that don't like it, and that's okay too. That's okay too. You know, if you don't like it, that's cool. That's cool. No judgment. But yeah, I really, really like that character, and I love those films, and I like the film as well, especially AVP. Like I said, it was just something about it that I can't. It's really hard to explain that one because I just got hooked and hooked and hooked and hooked into the making of that film, and then how good the later Aliens films got, with the look of them. And whenever that finally hit the screen, man, I was just like ready and ready to go. I was like, this is the holy grail for me for science fiction films because of the fact that this is just going to be awesome. And it held up, except for the idiot college kids right behind me, because they decided to bell her out and talk to the screen, and I ended up having to confront them, which I hate doing. But, you know, if I'm going to pay that kind of money to see a film, especially on opening day, I don't want to have to watch it again just to figure out what they were saying or doing because you're yelling in the background. You know what I mean? And I just hit that age to where I'm not going to go, you know, Colorado or anything on them. But yeah, when that film came out, I was still very adamant about stepping up and saying, shut up, you know, I didn't pay to hear you talk. And that was the first time I got rude in the theater in a long, long time. I don't like doing that. But that kid had a deep bellowing voice, and he was hollering and hooting and hollering and whatnot every scene in the film, and it was horrible. And he was right behind us. So I finally stood up and took care of it. And I got to see the rest of the film, and I really enjoyed it. But it's just par for course, I guess. It happens. There's always got to be an idiot in the group somewhere. And if you can't find them, it's normally you. Just word to the wise. But no, all joking aside there, it's a great film, and I really had a good time watching it. And I still watch it once in a while. Not as much as I used to, but once the new film comes out, I'll be back into that again, because I was hooked on that with Star Wars for a while, and I started watching the Star Wars films over and over and over. Now, I'm giving my incarnation here, just so you don't get bent about it. Yes, I know the nose is a little off. I know the mouth is a little bit different. I wanted to give it kind of a twist as to what it would look like if I designed a Predator for a comic book, just to give that kind of idea of what's going on in there. And now I'm going to sink these eyes in, because they never light that cavity or the eye socket. They're always sunk into their head. I just wanted to add that extra creepy oomph to it, as it were. I like this one because of the fact that I put in a little more of a pronounced snout, unlike some people, which that's fine. You know, if you like it more traditional and go, you can just block that off and not shade that out, and it'll round that back down. No problem. But I just wanted to do something a little different with this one today. And we got Thanksgiving coming up here pretty quick, you guys. That's going to be pretty neat. I love the holiday season. I'm a big holiday person. I'm not Martha Stewarty about it or anything, but I really like, you know, I don't staple up my house or anything like that with lights and all that, but I like to be around family and friends and stuff during this time of year. Love the holidays. And I'm one of those crazy giver people, so I really like getting stuff, but I like getting other people presents and doing nice stuff for people rather than receiving as much. But because if I want something, unfortunately, I'm one of the worst people in the world to shop for too, because I just go out and get it. I don't think about that kind of thing. When I want something, I just go out and get it, you know. So I'll come out and, you know, go to wherever I have to go to get that thing that I'm going shopping for, because I don't like going out and going shopping anyway. I thrift a lot for books and comics and things like that, because I can find the better deals and of course, a lot better selection with some of those older, you know, potluck type things, rather than just going out and getting the book at the local comic shop, as expensive as they are, and pay top dollar for it. Sometimes you get diamonds in the rough that are really, really cool, and it may not be as sharp as you want it, but the thing is it's still right there, it's still right there. So I'm not going to draw in all those hairs and stuff. What I'm going to do is some of the ones that look a little scaly, I'm going to put some of that business on there, like that. So I'll pattern this out a little more this way, because each one of these creatures is fairly unique in the way that they are. Their faces and markings and things are pretty much like fingerprints. They're pretty unique in the way that they come out. So I like doing some stuff like that. And of course, I've got the famous dreadlocks right here. They come out of different places on their face. Put that bigger one back there. And these are almost like tendrils instead of actual hair. If you ever draw these guys, they're more like an octopus arm kind of thing. They're solid. So I thought they were hair, but they're not. They're actual protruding growths that come out like tendrils. That's the easiest way to explain them, tendrils. Or tentacles, possibly, depending on what you want to reference them as. But I always drew these things just a little more stern and firm than most people. And like I said, I know this one isn't exactly like the feature version, but I wanted him to be just a little more diverse. So I wanted to make my incarnation of what it would look like. I mean, I can draw the DarkHorse version or the movie version, do it all the time, but I wanted him to look a little different. So we got that going on. And if you guys didn't know, before Hall played the original Predator, a lot of people don't know this, but Jean-Claude Van Damme was the original guy in the suit. But he had a dispute with the filming company and the production company because of the fact that he didn't get lines and nobody saw his face. So he actually wanted the Predator to morph into a human form so that he could show his face on camera and get the recognition for the screen time of the character. I thought that was pretty neat. I've known that for years. I remember back when it happened because it stopped production for about 2 months when they replaced him. But it turned out that they had the stuntman on hire and they decided not to go with another actor. They went with Hall instead, which was part of the stunt crew, and changed it up. And luckily, now we have the massive Predators that we have today because of that, because of the changes that he made in the dynamic of the character. So, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Van Damme's really short, and it's the way that they shoot him that he seems taller than that. But if you ever watch him in the Expendables, funny part of that was, I think he was in the sequel. He was in 2, not 3. And if you check him out, Stallone just towers over him. It's funny. I mean, he literally has like a foot on him. Now I'm going to put variations on these skulls. I'm not going to put exact proportions because I don't want them to look humanoid rather than looking like something else that he caught and wired together, some kind of little aliens or creatures or whatever. Because I want them to look a little more like what's on the figures. Which, by the way, I have that big 16-inch. It's 15 or 16 inches high. I have the Predator and Alien match set that stand on the big 2-piece together. They stand on a big, the big shield that goes around in the temple in AVP, if you saw it. And I have one of the Red Queens, which is freaking phenomenal. Okay. I'm going to draw one more down here. And then I'm going to move on to something else in this so we can get going. I think I'm going to put a vertebra on here. I like the idea of that. Putting a vertebrae on there like that from something that he got. Put kind of a cord through there. Make it run back up this way. And there's the edge of that shoulder. I love the diversity of their armor because it doesn't match anything reminiscent to anything else in anybody else's universe. I mean, it is completely unique. These characters are very cool in that regard. This is more like a cover plate rather than true armor. It's more like just like a chest plate kind of thing, and it's strapped on from one side. So I think that's pretty cool because it goes down here and makes these angular rib type designs. I always thought that was really, really cool the way they did that. I don't know who designed this, and I didn't design it exact the way that it probably should have been done. But whoever came up with this look of a monster or an alien in this case, freaking phenomenal. Just beautiful work. He's got to be one of the best designs in sci-fi. And I've had friends argue with me about that and say that it should be the alien that gets the props. But this is just a personal choice. I dig this guy. Huh. Like I said, it's not going to be exact to the film look because I wanted to diversify a little bit. But I'm giving this one a little bit of musculature in here, like a kind of a bat wing type of deal, where you're going to get a little bit more opening out of it. And right down in here, black out the mouth a little bit. There's normally heavier segments in here with, like, you know, the reptilian style ridges and whatnot. I didn't do that. I went more with a modern open mouth look, because whenever they open up their mouths, it's really massive, rather than just wiping it out, you know, with putting the Will Spataccio style ridges in there, which that's cool too if that's what you want to do. And, you know, if I went larger with this, I probably would have as well, you know, would have done that too, but I decided not to. Just going to keep this very, very clean, very dark. Map out this other one up here. He'll start to pop a little more like a predator here in just a moment, but I realize now that I probably did go a little too far one direction with the face, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. What's done is done. 'Tis a sketch card of the day. It is. Now, I was talking with my buddy, which you guys may or may not know, this guy, Rusty Gilligan. I was talking with him offline right before I came on, and I was like, you know what, man? I drew this out, and it looks all right, and I made a joke. It's a pun, but it is what it is. Lowest form of humor. But I said, a predator walks into the bar, and then he realizes he's in the Walking Dead universe. What does he do? I'll leave that one with you guys to think about. Scary thought. They've already crossed the Terminator universe with the Predator Alien universe, and now they're talking about, you know, they crossed Stargate with it in the last Sigourney Weaver film, with the little miner hunting down going to the mining camp and hunting down the ore, which is the same ore that the Stargate's made of. So that crossed that. The Wayland company that created the cyborg that was in the films, it turns out that now that company may be associated with the future version of Blade Runner and the synthetics, which is referenced. And I found that very interesting, because when they're sitting at the table, in the beginning, they're sitting at the table. Sigourney Weaver confronts the synthetic, which I can't remember his name all of a sudden now, and Bishop. And when they confronted him and said, "You're a synthetic," I thought they disabled all of you guys. And he makes a comment back to her and says something along the line of, you know, I wasn't part of the rebellion, and, you know, I wasn't part of that line, so you have no threat from me. But the reference made a direct quote reference to Blade Runner. If you guys caught that or not, go back and check out the original Aliens, which is the sequel to the original, and figure it out for yourself. Do a lot of research on that. You'll find out a bunch of that crossover. There's a lot of reference in that stuff. Stargate and let's see, Stargate, Predator, Terminator is now involved. Blade Runner's crossed over with that. I mean, they make a lot of cross references to the future stuff, and I'm hoping that now Disney has it, and Disney is sub-involved with some of the stuff. And I say sub-involved because they're like back-end executive producing some of these movies and stuff that are coming out. I'm hoping that they don't connect them to the Dark Horse crossover properties, which would allow them to cross over into the Star Wars universe. And I'm praying they don't. I think that would be weird. But I tell you what, though, I have to be honest. I've already said this once today, in fact. If I saw a crossover where Predator went in and tore up the Star Wars universe, I would definitely watch that movie. I would pay to see that film. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan, don't get me wrong. But I would love to see that happen, because that would be a real threat to the Star Wars universe like nothing else. To have aliens or predators involved, it's like, boy, you'd forget about the dark side and, you know, the Force and, you know, the dark and the light real quick if you had a bunch of xenopods running around. And it would be bad. Those xenomorphs are bad animals. And I would just love to see a couple of those things come out. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out if I want to shade that or not, because I don't want to overdo it and make it look like he's got a hole in his jaw. But, yeah, you guys do your own research on that and see what you think. See what you think. I mean, it's okay if you have a difference of opinion with it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Really, it is. I'm good. I'm good. I like to talk about that stuff because of the fact that it makes people think. And a lot of people don't think about that stuff. There's some interesting crossovers in there. It makes great fan fiction, if nothing else. I'm putting some of those strange little black tendrils like these up here, because they grow all over their heads. And I've talked about that. If you guys are interested, I've talked about that on podcast numerous times, and I know there's a ton to it. But if you guys want to talk about it sometime, we definitely can. So I think I've got all of it done that I want to do. I don't want to mess with it too much. I do want to mess with this shoulder pad, though, because this armor is just awesome. But I do want to detail this up a little bit. Kind of scratch those plates up a little. And right here at the bottom, I'll put some of that body webbing that they wear. You know, kind of like, it's kind of like fishnet in the way that they wear that stuff. I'll put that there because that's the edge of the arm, so you guys can see that. But there we go. And I'm going to take a second and check what everybody's saying. Hey, man, I appreciate that, Kevin. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're busy hopping with the kids and stuff. Yeah, I think it is too. I know Stan Winston designed him, but like I said, I wanted to do a little bit different version of it. I hope I didn't go too far off base to turn you off on it, because you know, some people, they get a little bent about the traditionalist and purist actions. But Predator and RoboCop have crossed over in the comic books from Dark Horse's licensing, and I would like to see them cross over in a film too. I think that'd be phenomenal, because I love that crossover in the comic books. And Batman versus Predator was freaking outstanding. That's one of my favorite comic crossovers. But yeah, I'd love to see him come back, and I would like to see them battle it out and get face to face with a couple of these characters and see how they really pop off. Because unfortunately, there are so many variations now. I'm going to go ahead and put in the wrinkles to the skin. I didn't want to mark him up too much, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and put him in because without it, it looks a little weird. So, but yeah, I would love to see these guys get into a big box office smash. I mean, like I said, AVP is one of my favorite films, and it still till this day has some of the best monster alien type of fight scenes, period. And the fact that they tied them into the old temple, that was just outstanding the way they did that. And they could go 20 different directions with it and never miss a beat. And being Earth-based, it would be really easy to bring the Predators back into the RoboCop timeline without question. Without question. Terminator as well. Because see, they're doing the crossover as part of Skynet being developed as a future weapons platform in the first place to defend humans, not just to make production for AI and technology that went crazy, but they're saying it was a production of a weapons platform so that we could get protection from extraterrestrials or other types of threats. And in adding it to that profile right there, you could build up the alien, the Predator and Alien adaptation real quick. But I don't know if we'll do that or not. And I'm hoping that Scott gets involved with them again. Ridley Scott, I'm hoping he gets involved because he's supposed to be doing Predator, the Predator reboot. He's supposed to be doing that. And it's got Jake Busey in it, Gary Busey's son, that is going to be playing him. He's going to be playing himself in that film, to where he's actually Busey's character on screen, either in a younger version or the son of Gary's persona in, I want to say, Predators 2. It was Predator 2 that he was in with Danny Glover. I think that was the one he was in. And they're tying Soldier into it too. Kurt Russell's Soldier is being tied into that. And that was supposed to be the human incarnation of a super soldier to fight off aliens from alien invasions. And they mention in the Soldier film, they actually mention aliens being involved. And they mentioned the Wayland Company, and they also mentioned what is it? Ripley. They actually mentioned Ripley, but it's a passing type of thing, and it's just a footnote type of deal where you have to pay attention to the dialogue. And they say, on planet, when we were in combat in planet so and so, that's who they were after, that kind of thing. And you got to pay attention to that stuff because they slip it in and they pop it in, and they use it as filler. But now it's popular to cross over all those properties. So now they get to do that, and joint company efforts and things like that are coming out left and right. And I would love to see some of that stuff play off. I know I said I was done with this, but I've decided, like I said, I'm going to shell this out because it just doesn't look fulfilled right now, or it didn't, and I wanted to get a little bit more edgy. So that's what I'm doing right here at the moment. I'm going to take that tooth out on that one. And I don't know what this would be, but like I said, he's got some alien skulls on there, so we'll go with that and leave it alone. But yeah, I'm going to stop right there, though, because I've detailed the heck out of this thing at this point, and I want to be able to ink it clean. So that's it today, guys. This is where you get it. we now have Predator. I'll take a look at doing an Alien tomorrow, and we'll go from there. But no promises, though. But I'll see what I can come up with. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it so much. Let's see what we can do about being nice to everybody. Have something great for Thanksgiving. And we got a day or two before we get off for that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I will be doing a card Thanksgiving Day, though, by the way, just letting you know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but I will be doing something Thanksgiving Day. I'm not going to break my streak on my lives or my cards yet. So catch you guys later. Take care.